We're in the Northern Midlands, northwest of Campbell. The property's 3,300 hectares. So we've got superfine sheep and we've got a final flock as well. And we've got beef cattle and we grow a few crops. Wheat and barley are the two main cereals, a bit of canola and grass seed crops for grazing and harvest. We've planted quite a lot of native trees over the last 15 years probably. We have planted some pine trees probably 10 years ago and been looking for grant opportunities, not just through the pine trees, but natives as well for fencing off watercourses, and wasn't really looking at the harvest side of it, even though that's attractive at maybe in 20, 30 years time. But it's more for the shelter. A lot of the trees have been planted around irrigators, like centre pivots, so it's got the benefit of protecting the crop, or if it's being grazed and the stock has got shelter, there's all the biodiversity and reducing water table, so there's plenty of benefits with growing trees. We decided to plant the pine trees in areas where we didn't think the natives would grow very well. So it was a lot of the sandier country, and we decided to go with some wallaby-proof fencing, which is good, but there's a fair bit of maintenance in that if you're going to go to that trouble. A fair bit of mounding to start with, spraying. Luckily we haven't had to water them at all because we've had a couple of good seasons, so the rainfall's been good. So we had a pretty steep learning curve. We planted 2 years ago and good season. Everything was in our favour that year, but we planted with fertiliser next to the roots, and because it was in sandy ground we lost a lot of trees. I think there was only like 5% survival out of the whole planting because the pine trees couldn't handle the leaching of the fertiliser. So we replanted again this year without fertiliser, and we've had a similar rainfall year and the trees look pretty good. So I suppose it's just one of those things that you'd normally plant with fertiliser, but in this case it didn't work in our favour. But moulding was worth doing just to get that moisture to plant into the moulds, get the shooting right, plant into plenty of moisture and hope that you get a good season. We'll definitely be looking to plant more into the future. It's got too many upsides with the shelter and biodiversity, and if you're having a few tough years, who knows, droughts or whatever, but you've got another source of income you can fall back on. But I'd be guessing if they were harvested, they'll probably just get replanted with pine trees again anyway. It might be 20 or 30 years, so it might be the next generation that makes that call.